Hey, everybody, it's Wolf from Wolfgang, and you are listening to Music Existence. Enjoy.
Welcome to another instance of music existence where, because of music, we exist. Today, or tonight rather, is a very special episode. I have with me Wolf Gemora. It's morning where he is in the Philippines. He is the founder and original drummer of the Filipino rock band Wolfgang. Some big things happened regarding their legacy. Last year, they did a 30th anniversary re recording of their eponymous 1995 debut album. Then, beginning this year, they unearthed and restored what would have been their very first music video. I'm talking about the one called Arise. That's the lead track. And the band actually has another 30th anniversary coming up for their breakthrough sophomore album, Cementalin, which came out, of course, in 1996. But all of these aren't a coincidence. In fact, they serve as build-up for the band's reunion show on February 7th at the New Frontier Theater. That's Bastia Toddy, Manuel Legarda, and of course, Wolfgang. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, Jake, thank you very for having me. And you pronounce my last name Hemora.
I'm all right.
Yeah, so the G sounds like an H.
Yeah. Gemora.
Okay.
Oh, it's just like Glenn Jacinto because
Yeah. It's
I
a
would
Spanish
always
thing.
do
Yeah,
Jacinto, but Jacinto, thanks for the tip, man. Salamat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
You mentioned off screen your band, The Melodies, that features Melody Del Mundo from the band Sugar Hiccup, and I actually saw a performance you did back in 2024
Hmm.
of Bongahan by Sampaguita, and I was wondering, like, um, fitting that into your own influences, was it like when you were growing up, was it a combination of Pinoy rock and like whatever Western music was available then?
Yeah, well. First of all, I wanna commend you for all this information that you know, because
Yeah.
it's really cool, man. So I really appreciate your dedication to Filipino rock music. But yeah. To answer your question, Filipinos are always influenced by the West, whether
Right.
in any aspect of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because after World War II, we were Americanized, by the United States. So the influence is very heavy, but there's also a very heavy European influence in the Philippines. Especially from the UK. Especially during the 80s. New wave was very big here in the Philippines. New wave music.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a radio station would play America's Top 40 of Casey Kasem. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, Casey Kasem's top 40. Yeah.
Yeah. So during when I was in high school, I heard that show every Sunday.
Wow.
So what? Yeah, and of course, back in the 80s, when I was in high school, there was no cable TV, there was no cell phones. Obviously, there was no internet. Obviously, so everyone pretty much listened to the same thing, on the radio or watched the same thing on TV. So there was this collective kind of influence over the Filipino people. Like if I was listening to Casey Kasem, I mean hundreds of thousands of other people were listening to Casey Kasem at the same time.
Right.
So Filipinos knew what was happening musically in the States and also in Europe, especially the UK. So there were so many
Mm-hmm.
influences coming from everywhere in the Western side of the world. And we also had our own homegrown. rock stars, rock heroes from the 1970s, like Juan de la Cruz, Pepe Smith, Mike Hanapol, Anak Bayan, and then some of course, Sampaguita, which was a big influence on our generation of musicians too. So we just meld everything together that we knew, and then of course in the case of Wolfgang, we listened to heavy music and classic rock from the States. So there in Wolfgang alone, there's so many musical influences, and then when we were like going into Semenilin, from the first album into Semenilin, we were all getting into jazz. Like, well, at least the three guys, me, Manuel, and Mon, our bass player,
Hmm.
we were getting into jazz at the same time. So that would have an like a bit of influence on especially on Semenilin. It's like what the jazz influence was like. We were more we it's like we discovered that you don't have to constrain yourself to one genre.
Hmm.
It's like you can take influences from any kind of genre and put it into your music.
In the Filipino case, it's very interesting because it was like a hodgepodge of influences coming in. You had all the like influence of that unique phenomenon in the Philippines where it was like the Philippine only radio hits. Like I don't know if anyone outside the Philippines is aware of the hit that More to Lose by Shauna Dancing was.
Oh my
And
god! Oh my god! That's how do you know that, dude?
I was listening to them in the car. I've been listening to those four songs that they released over and over and over again.
Did
And
you know
like,
that? Did you know the singer of Siona Dancing is
yeah, it's
is
Ricky.
Ricky Gervais,
Ricky. I'm
dude?
just like, huh? But then when you draw the parallels in The Office, like David Brent is like a struggling musician, and
Oh,
then
is that him?
and then it's like you go, and then Ricky from Shauna Dancing was also kind of like there, and like going to your beginnings, Wolfgang. I was really surprised that, in 1992, when you guys were starting out, you were friends with Razorback like really early on.
Yeah. My group of friends was actually Razorback.
Oh,
So
wow.
I started out. I met the original drummer Miguel
Wow.
Ortigas in college. I actually met him before back in
So it
high
was
school.
like a real coincidence. It was like kind of like fate almost, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, when I met Miguel, and then because I'd started to grow my hair,
Hmm.
which is gone now, obviously. But I started to grow my hair long at the
I
time.
remember the hair you had.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I had nice luscious hair,
Yeah, wolfy hair.
woofy hair. Yeah, but anyway, so we kind of figured out that we liked rock music. So we were talking about music, and then he goes, "You know what? I'm forming a band with my friends. You should come over and jam with us, and just hang out." And so he was talking about the formation of Razorback. They were all like friends. Him and the guitarist here, so they're like best friends back in that time. So they were just starting Razorback. So that weekend, I show up in his house, and pretty much the bass, the original lineup of Razorback is there, and they're just like
So, wow,
jamming.
so that was back in 1990. So that was
That
like
was
when,
maybe 91, I think
okay,
91.
so like I remember like Club Dread was like first like starting out too, right? That whole scene was about to
Yeah, and I
germinate.
had yeah, and the thing is, when I was during that time, that was maybe 90 91. I had no idea about the music scene in the Philippines. I
So
didn't know
no,
anything.
you didn't know about Club Dread yet.
No, not at all. Because I was a sheltered kid,
Oh man.
I just went to school and then back home, school back home. And when you're a kid, you don't. you don't go out. You can't go out. To
So
club.
so like so you weren't really aware of the music scene until you started a band of your own, right?
Not at all. I only realized the music scene. So eventually, Razorback formed with their definitive first lineup, and then they got a gig in Kalye Bar in Makati.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when I realized that, oh my gosh, they're all, because when they started out, it was just them, and then when word got out of them, musicians would visit and watch them, and sometimes they would jam, and then we would meet all these other musicians from everywhere. And that's when I started realizing about the actual scene. And even at that time, I didn't know what Club Dread was. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know where it was. I had no idea the bands who were playing there. And so yeah, so for me, it was like the underground music culture of Manila was opening up to me as I was hanging out with Razorback. So I was pretty much Razorback's roadie, you know.
Oh, okay. I think I
Yeah.
remember reading about you started out as a roadie.
Yeah.
And and it's really interesting. You bring it back to the scene in the Philippines in 91, 92. Of course, you got like the more mainstream alternative offerings, but as far as like Philippines, you had like the new wave bands were either dying out or became more progressive and heavier. Like I know the Dawn, by the time Wolfgang formed, they put out a Bolt Kamai, and that
Yeah.
was more heavy, kind of guitar leaning. And then like the Thought, I think the new wave band, the Thought, like put out like their last single ever, which was very funk sort of metal, but then you had a lot of like syrupy bands like After Image
To
and like
repeat.
yeah, Art Start and
Oh
all
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like did metal in the Philippines kind of germinate on its own or did it coexist with the more alternative bands?
No, metal in the Philippines, and I'm getting this stock information from our late bassist Mon, because he's 3 years older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like in college already in like 1985, and I was still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so what from what he would say is that it would just be like a small group of people in the university who liked metal, who knew who Metallica was. Because I mean, this was pre and Justice for All, so it was like Master of Puppets era.
Oh, okay.
So even Metallica during that time was underground.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Philippines, it was really just a handful of people who knew metal music. Those who were really like into it. Then because the radio wasn't playing any metal music at all until the Black album came out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there was that thing, and then of course when I met the Razorback guys, what was unique about Miguel is that his older sister uh, lived in the States, and she still lives there now. And
Mm-hmm.
during that time, she was very active uh, in the scene in Hollywood, like the Whiskey A Go Go and all of that, the Roxy.
Yeah.
She was in that scene, so she would send Miguel all these vinyl records of Iron Maiden, Metallica,
Whoa.
Judas Priest, everything. So he was stocked with all these metal records. So when I would go to their house, I would make cassette tapes from his vinyl. I would make my own mixtapes, and that's how I discovered all these bands. Because before that, like I said, it was all about Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. That's
Wow.
all I knew. So it was during this time that I met them, my whole world was opening up, and and then eventually I got into as a musician would. I got into cannabis, and then my mind started opening up.
Of
to
course.
to what cannabis does to your mind. That's what happened to
Yeah.
me, you know. And so yeah, so metal really pushed got through when the Black Album came out, you know. Yeah, just like the rest of the world, you know.
I mean, there were because I've seen like early hints of it. Like I remember one of the first Filipino metal bands I think was Warlock, and then there's like the Twisted Red Cross kind of scene, like punk
Yeah.
scene, like Deceased, which was more thrash. So there's
Uh-huh.
a little bit there, but you guys were kind of in a unique situation because, like I said, all these scenes are kind of dying out and springing up all at once. And then and then you have Razorback, which kind of has like a southern twang.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
then Wolfgang. So like by 92 was Wolfgang just like kind of playing covers or were they focused on like original
Well,
material?
we started out with covers because we
Yeah.
like to play covers, and it's good practice for a band who's starting out.
Mm-hmm.
You play covers, and then you learn, especially if you're, any instrumentalist. You learn the cover, and then while you're learning the cover or the song, you're learning how to play. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a very good kind of ritual that new bands should do, and they do that, like, when you're have a garage band when you're a kid, all you do is play covers,
Right.
because of the songs that you like,
And the
so
stigma around original.
what's that?
The stigma around originals. When you go
Yeah,
and
yeah,
play, you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, this is a song you wrote? Come on. We don't
yeah,
need
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So we got a gig, so we were fortunate enough to get to land a weekly gig
Right.
uh every Friday, and we had that gig for 3 years. So that's where we really, like, that was our we would rehearse during the, like, maybe Wednesday, and then Friday we do the gig, and that was like 3 1-hour sets, so
So
you had
you
to fill.
really like made your bones
Oh
at
my
that
god,
point.
we made a whole skeleton, dude, from scratch. You know what I mean? If when we got popular, um our haters were like always saying that we got by because of our connections, because the two other guys were white, so they had somehow miraculously had connections in the industry, which was so untrue. Which was very untrue. We were just regular people,
They were just looking at Sebastian and they're like, whoa,
Yeah,
he is, I mean, he can get by. I don't know
yeah,
about
he can
these
get
guys.
by. I'm sure he has all the connections. Which, of course, we were just people. We were just college aged dudes, who were passionate about music. So we really, but the true story is that we really worked our ass off. We played every Friday, 3 sets every Friday for 3 years. So the number three is very important for the early days of Wolfgang. And then eventually we learned how to write our own songs. I
So
think the
that's where
first song,
like Darkness Fell and Left Alone came in, like
yeah,
when it
that's where
came
all
to
those guys came
Ivory,
along.
right? That was
Yes.
like,
So
yeah.
yeah, so we started writing. I think the first song we wrote was "Arise."
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, and then "Darkness," and then "Left Alone," and then maybe "Darkness Fell." Those were the first three. So
Hmm.
what we would do is, when we would think that the song is like finalized, final arrangement, we're comfortable to play it live, we would just, you know, we would sneak it into, the set list, every now and then. And then, since our original music was influenced by the covers we were playing
Right.
at that time, it sounded so similar.
So
It, you know, it was,
Metallica,
yeah, it
kind
was
of,
like, it sounded like Metallica. It sounded like Black Sabbath. It
or
sounded
like
like,
Alice in Chains a little bit
yeah.
too.
Uh-huh. So people would be like, they would know. Well, first of all, I have to go back. It's like when we were playing covers,
Right.
in this place, in this club called
Mm,
Weekends Live.
mhm,
Covers we were playing were Black Sabbath, all the
mhm,
classic rock stuff, maybe a little bit of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam here and there.
mhm.
So everyone who was there watching us didn't know who Black Sabbath was. They didn't know who Led Zeppelin was.
What?
Yeah, because it was already the early 90s. The 80s was all about new wave and Casey Kasem. So there was really no, I didn't know who Led Zeppelin was until I met Miguel or Black Sabbath or Ozzy and all of that,
Yeah.
because it wasn't on the radio at all. So the people who were watching Wolfgang in the early days, they were either our age, same age as us, or younger in high school,
Right.
or maybe early college, and they
Mm.
didn't know any of that music. So they were like, and of course it's great music, so they liked it. They liked all the classic rock stuff we were playing,
I guess
and
because they were attuned to like more younger sounds. Like they
yeah, and
didn't.
especially that time, grunge had already come out, so
Right.
everyone was listening to grunge, and
Mm.
of course, grunge came from classic rock,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
classic metal. So we, as Wolfgang, we had the same influences as Pearl Jam and Alice and Soundgarden. So
Yeah.
we kind of sounded like them too.
Hmm.
So yeah. So when we would sneak in the originals, people would be like, oh, that's a great song. Who sang that? It's like, is that a Black Sabbath song? It's like, no, that's our song. And people freak out. It's like, what? That's your song? Oh my god. So that's how in the early days we got popular, and yeah, it was 3 years of just hard work, man. But of course,
Yeah.
since you're in a band, it's not really hard work because we were loving what we were doing,
Yeah, I mean, and it's not autopilot. It's not like performative. You have a rhythm down, but at the same time, it's still you're still putting in like the blood, sweat, and tears. And like it got to the point where it was like the Beatles, even when you played live and you had thousands screaming for you, like it didn't distract you. But like, so like that whole experience of like first getting signed to what was that? That was Ivory and Tone Deaf.
yeah,
So like, so did that sort of lead to your first album, Wolfgang, in
yeah.
95?
So the signing happened when the Eraserheads got signed.
Okay.
Then it was a mad frenzy, because then by the time we were doing that gig, Club Dread was very popular already in their area. Razorback was starting in their little club, which was near ours, on Saturday night. So Friday night would be Wolfgang. They would watch us. And then Saturday night would be Razorback, and we would watch them. We'd just hang. So there was a really active scene already. So when the Eraserheads got signed, all these record companies started, scrambling. It's like, oh, we want our own, local band and whatever. So we got signed with Ivory, and it was a subsidiary. Tone Deaf was a subsidiary, so that if ever if ever it didn't work out, the main company wouldn't be affected.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so we got signed to Ivory. It was very exciting. And then we recorded. By that time, all the songs in the first album were already ready to go. We actually had recorded "Left Alone" and "Darkness Fell" as demos.
Hmm. I remember
Uh,
that one.
yeah, we
Did they
record
sound all too different, or did they sound like kind of similar to what was eventually on the album?
the demo. The demos sound very different, because there's the you can because it's the first
I
time
can't wait to hear the.
no, I don't know. I don't know. I think we lost them. We're
Oh
still trying
man.
to find it. Yeah, yeah. We're still trying to find those demos. But you can tell, because it's the first time that we ever recorded. So
Right.
there's a lot of fire. there. Even with Darkness Fell, it's a slow song,
Mm-hmm.
but you can feel the intensity because we're really, you can feel the band. Like this is the first time we're going to record these songs. We believe in these songs, and so when it got time for the album, I mean, the first album's great because it was still analog during that time. So
Mm-hmm.
so the sound is analog. So and then we eventually finished recording, and then they put out the album, and
Like
then
right out the gate,
oh
like because of the kind of traction you guys have built already, it was already like really picking up steam. So like when it came to the because you really did believe in Arise, so
yeah.
so so this music video that comes out now, when we fast forward to now, this
Mhm.
recently unearthed music video for Arise, like I know I it has like new edits in it with like some colors transitions are like new in it, but like do you remember anything about like that music video? Because it's probably because I always thought that Waitlist was your first, but Arise was your first.
Yeah, Arise was first. So the story of the Arise music video was that we were just playing in that club, the 3 year gig,
Yeah.
and maybe by the third year, that's when the album came out already. So we were still playing in that club. So the director of that video approached us, and he said, I want to make a music video of you guys. Your choice of song, and I'll film it and all that. So we were like, okay, cool. So it was done on uh the place was this Irish pub on the street is Jupiter Street. So if you live in Manila, Jupiter Street is like a popular street. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like a popular hangout street. A lot of bars there. So he rented out this Irish pub, which explains like the parquet floor. I don't know if you noticed, like some shots that were of Manuel from the top. You could see the floor. It's like parquet because it was an Irish pub,
Hmm.
and we got friends together to be the extras, to be the crowd.
Hmm.
Um, if you see like the first shot, this bald guy, the bald security guy, that was our good friend Dino. He passed away already, like maybe I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. He
Wow.
was he was a very good friend of mine, and he was like security for Wolfgang from start to
So he was
finish.
one of your early supporters.
Yeah, he used to hang out in at Razorback's gig. That's where we met him.
Whoa,
Yeah.
goes he goes
Yeah,
way back then.
he's OG, man. He's OG. So, and then he eventually became our security guy for Wolfgang when we would go on tour. And the thing is, Dino, he was a teenager in the 70s. So, I mean, that's how
So he
wild.
was really into probably like Maria Cafra and
Yeah, he was
Juan de la
everything.
Cruz.
All the Pinoy rock stuff, all the classic rock stuff. Of course, that was his music. That was his time. So
Yeah.
yeah. So we filmed that thing, and we used actual film. And then it's funny when we released it again recently. A lot of people were like saying it was like AI and stuff. It's like that looks like AI. It's like, no, man, that's the real thing, man.
Probably, yeah, because you cleaned it up. It's a little too nicely cleaned up.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably because of the rainbow kind of effects that were added in later. But when I gotta say, like, it's the way it's shot, especially, it was very ambitious for the time, for Filipino standards, especially, because usually a lot of Filipino bands, like, um, they either didn't do videos or they recorded really cheap videos that used tape. And like
Yeah.
they were just like a basic performance. Like I've seen like, you know, and I love Alamid. Let's be transparent. I love Alamid, but
Uh-huh.
like their videos, man, for China Eyes and Your Love, they were just outdoors, like kind of like,
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember now. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
very little movement. but
yeah,
but
yeah.
you was like really like this shot here, overhead shot, crowd
Hmm.
shot, like very ambitious, like
Very, yeah,
very like especially for Filipino standards. Very it
yeah.
was a benchmark video, but it wasn't released for many years.
I know. Yeah, 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 yeah. And another thing, the director was a foreigner, so he
Wow.
was, yeah, he was like, he was Indian, but he was educated in the international school, I think. So he had a different perspective. He was a foreigner, so
Right.
he had his perspective on shooting, on filming was very different. Like if you notice, like Basti's shots are like super, like this, like super up close.
It's very 90s.
Very 90s and very not Filipino style. So
No.
yeah, so it was, so even if we re-released it now, it looks current. You know what I mean? Because at that time, it was ambitious.
Yeah.
So now it looks current because back then, 30 years ago, it was like pushing an envelope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and plus going through that whole effort of restoration must have been
Yeah.
extremely painstaking.
Yeah, I'm sure, because then you have to, because it's on film, so you have to render the film into digital to do your edits, right? So yeah, it was a, I'm sure it was a very meticulous process.
And so yeah, and I love that album. I've always loved your first album, and for the re-recording, I mean, I remember the announcement of the the reissue of the first album, and like they were gonna pay you like 4 cents for that. The whole
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's
4 cents, man.
yeah, 4 cents. I mean, you did the calculations, right? Four
Yeah,
cents, dude.
four
Yeah, when
cents.
back.
So was the 30th anniversary re-recording so that you can take back control and like
Oh yeah,
on your
we
own terms?
yeah we totally did the Taylor Swift. It's
Well,
like
yeah,
she's the one, because she's the one who started that stuff. It's like,
right.
if you're not gonna give me the original tapes, I'm just gonna re-record because it's my music. So it was the same idea. And
Hmm.
yeah, I was shocked when Basti posted a thing. Um, and understandably, when we signed that contract, we were kids, man. We were like, I was 22, 21 when we signed that first album. So we had no idea we had no idea,
Yeah,
about royalties and all of that. So it's something that you have to live with, but you can adjust what you want to do around that. So we were like, okay, so this is not going to work for us, the music writers, the songwriters of those songs. So you know, Basti and Manuel, I guess they decided, okay, let's do it ourselves. And then they asked me, it's like, yeah, totally, man. It's like, and there's also always, if you're a musician, if there's a chance to re-record your past stuff, it's always an option. It's always something that a musician would want, especially if you like had feelings about the original recordings, like, oh, I could have played that differently, or I could have played that better.
yeah.
You know,
And the thing is, in this like re-recording, the most important thing is you have fun with it. You don't take it too seriously. I give especially Basti like props because of not because just because of his nervous system condition, with his mouth. I'm sure it needs a lot of energy expenditure, but
Mhm.
man, he like pulls it off and like you guys too in the same way. And I like how you were able to just take advantage of just, the entire room as opposed
Yeah,
to whatever confines you had previously.
right. Yeah, and yeah, I mean everyone did a great job, man. I mean, and it's when I heard the finished product, and big props to Basti, big props to Manuel because Manuel was the one who mixed it, and it's amazing. I don't know if you know, but mixing is such a you have to be in it to do it. To you have to be in it like totally to win it.
Yeah, in the
And
sound,
in
enveloped
the
in the
yeah.
sound.
And the thing is, Manuel, that's what he does. That's his business. He is a sound engineer. He
Mhm.
owns a studio now. He co-owns a nice big studio. So he was destined to do this. And he did a really great job. Basti did a great job with the vocals, and it was also Basti who coordinated the box set with Acon Records. With Rick Olivares, who's a big thank you to Rick as well for
Yeah,
taking it on. But I mean, when I saw I don't know if you saw that video when I first got the physical copy like two
right.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dude, I got emotional, man. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I couldn't. When you see the pictures and then all the memories start coming back, that's when the emotions start, you know, messing with you. It's like,
I know because I know Basti had his own kind of thing. He was explaining that when you released the tape of your first album, Halik Ni Hudas was the lead track, but
yeah,
it was so cool to see the original first album CD, because it had a picture of you guys as 22-year-olds on the back, and you
I
guys have
know.
sepia tone, long hair, you know.
Sepia, dude, sepia tone. Sepia was so big at the time, dude. Yeah,
It's so funny, but like a lot of things happened in 1995. A lot of bands, feet like Fins, Shaco, Sugar Hiccup, Celts
yeah,
Cross,
yeah,
like all these bands, all these albums too, like Sugar Hiccup with Oracle, and
yeah.
like just like all like 1995 alone, like was just a massive year. I
It was a
remember
massive deal. Yeah,
Teeth's first album too, and then Eraserheads put out Cutter Pillow.
yeah,
Like it was just, and
yeah,
then
and then Razorback's first album came out in
yeah, Epic
'95 as
Got
well.
Sounds.
Yeah, yeah. So it was. So that's what I meant about when the E heads put out their album. That's when everyone got signed.
Yeah, and then you were on intimate sessions with Charlie from The Breed.
The Breed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He has like a very disarming kind of quality to his voice. Like it's a very like I thought like intimate sessions would be like slowed down kind of thing, equal intensity, but you get like more into like those stories of like
yeah.
how the bands began. Like when I first heard about weed, you know, with the double D, Anong Pagimo, long hair go. Remember that one? Yeah.
Weed. Those dudes, the bassist vocalist of Weed was my neighbor, dude. And
Oh man.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was my neighbor. Yeah, I mean, and then because we were neighbors like even before Wolfgang. Because I
Wow.
was, yeah, because I would like in that neighborhood every afternoon. This is a really cool story.
Yeah.
I had just gotten my first drum set. My parents were like, my parents were like, okay, so he's decided that he wants to be a drummer, so we're gonna
Yeah.
support him and buy his first drum set. So I parked the drum set in the den of the house, like the where the piano is or whatever, the music room. And every afternoon I would just be bashing, just bashing every afternoon.
Yeah.
And during that time, the younger kids of the neighborhood would be playing outside, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I would I would get these stories of these kids like later on when we all grew up. I had
Hmm.
re-met them again, some in some form of another,
Hmm.
and they would tell me, it's like when I was a kid playing in the street, we would just hear your drums. We was like, what's going on in that house? It's just drums, drums, drums. So it was a really, because I didn't know what was happening outside because I was playing my drums inside the room. So
Hmm.
apparently, all these kids who were playing outside could hear me playing, and they were just like, it's like, what's going on in there?
Yeah.
So yeah, so and then I would hear I would, like I said, I would re-meet these people later on in life, and they were when they were adults already.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
weed actually were like just kids like around that time. Again,
they
like
were kids.
95. Like
They were
they were like
kids.
18 years old when they were on intimate sessions.
Yeah, they were kids. And the thing is, the leader of that band, Philip
Yeah.
Ariola, he was the bass player, he was the vocalist.
Hmm.
He, because they were influenced, obviously, by classic rock, right?
Yeah.
But when I first saw them play live, they played with us in an outdoor gig, big stage. And
Wow.
Philip comes out. Philip comes out. So he's a little taller
Hmm.
than everyone else. So he comes out in bell bottoms, like 1975 bell bottoms. Like he looked like a rock star from the 70s. You
Wow.
know, like a flowing shirt, the buttons are open up to here, and he was playing his bass guitar. He had bell bottoms on. His hair was like kind of, it wasn't long, but it was like a mop head, you know like
Hmm.
uh like how Oasis would wear their hair and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
wow.
So pretty much like what the Beatles look like,
Beetle cuts, yeah.
Beatle cuts, and so I was like, wow, look at this dude, man, because he's got the whole outfit. But then the rest of the guys in the band, they were kids, so they're just wearing their everyday clothes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Weed right away. I like them because they had the same influences as us. So you know, yeah,
Yeah, it's really cool. You were able to kind of coexist in that same space of rock, like in the Philippines, like achieving like a massive status. Like obviously it was big. It was a big year because there was the NU 107 Rock Awards. You were there, Alamid, Wolfgang, the Youth, Yano, Color It
yeah,
Red,
yeah.
everybody was there. And
Everybody was there.
so like um so it was just awesome. And then in 1996, that's when you did your major label breakthrough. You signed to Sony for Semenilin. Now, was that like deal any better than Ivory? Were you still struggling at that point, or was
No,
Sony a little bit better?
Sony was much, much, much better.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know the story, but it's a funny story that happened in our
Yeah.
transition to Sony. So we were in Ivory Records. So
Right.
to give you some context, when the first album came out, it came out actually in December.
Right. December
Uh,
95, right?
December 94.
Oh,
December
December
94.
94. Wow.
Yeah, it came out. And the thing is, when we first got our copy of the cassette, so right away, I remember this. I was in my car and Manuel was with me. So we were going to test the cassette,
Wow.
test it out. And then we were like, when the first song comes on, it's like, this sounds kind of weird. It's like Bassie's voice is a little high and the tempo is a little faster, like really like seconds faster, but you could tell. So you're like, holy shit, the speed is wrong.
Oh,
It's like, so yeah, so let's say, so what they did was, so from the master copy, when you transfer it to the mass producing machine, the one that was recording the master was, the speed was slow. So when it got to normal speed, it was fast. You know what I mean? It was recorded slow, So when you play it back, it's a little fast. So we noticed it right away, and we were like, "Dude, this is not
So
good, man."
instead of I am the
No,
night, I am the
yeah, no,
day,
it was
it
just
goes
yeah, it was
I am the
yeah,
night,
and
I
it
am the day.
just a little bit, but you could tell, you could totally tell, and
Yeah, wow.
we were so pissed, man, and then we go back to Ivory, and it's like,
So it was re-released in the 95 by
oh,
90.
so yeah, so the first 500 copies of the cassette was at that speed. So if you own that cassette, that is like
That's
the
a
most
collector's item because
that is a
that
collection.
was that's the one that doesn't have Harik Nihuras as the lead track. That has
Yes,
a rise. And you can
yes,
hear Basti as like a glorified chipmunk.
yeah. So we were like, dude, we went back to Ivory's like, this is not cool, man. You have to. So January 20, I think, was the official date that January 2095
Okay.
was when they released the normal
When was the December one? Which day was the December?
December. I would say 15. I think December 15. I
Okay,
think.
so
Yeah.
December 15th was the original, and then January 20th, 95 was
95
the
was like
correct, everything's at the correct speed now.
yes.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Thank God. I mean, thank God they even gave enough shit to fucking do it, to
Redub
put stuff,
it.
you know. So anyway, so it comes out in January, and then it gets on the radio, LA 105. I'm sure you
Yeah,
know LA
LA
105.
105.
Yeah, and it's funny that because during that time, NU 107 was still playing new wave,
Oh
because it
shit.
was like
We're
it
still
was
playing like probably Identity Crisis and
yeah, they were still playing that, and even the foreign acts, they were still a little soft. They hadn't played. Maybe they played Nirvana, but they hadn't for sure
they
played
probably
Soundgarden.
played like Questions by Gumella Band.
Yeah. Oh my God, Comella Band. Oh my God, you know that shit?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know that shit. And they probably
Yeah.
played like Hype too. I don't want to
Yeah.
lose you,
No.
Elaine.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They were still playing Identity Crisis and stuff like that. So they were very, I wouldn't say they were anti Wolfgang. It's just that we were too heavy for NU at the time.
They probably
So
liked like Rockstar Arcasia.
yeah. They were like, okay, so these dudes are like the Metallica guys. So we're not playing Metallica yet. So
Right.
let's not play them yet. So we got big on LA 105, and
Okay,
then
yeah. Because LA 105 is like, even if your single is poorly recorded, they'll have you. LA
they'll have
105.
you.
That was like the
Yeah,
premier
they don't care.
underground station.
Yeah, they don't care. They were like a college radio station.
Well, yeah, that's why
Yeah.
Dead Nails got popular.
Oh my God, yeah. Like Dead Nails, that was like the worst sounding
Yeah,
recordings.
the worst album
Dude.
ever, man. And
Yeah,
they
but they
even
were
got signed. They even got
yeah,
signed.
they even got signed because of that. And the thing with LA 105, it was all cassettes, man. They couldn't afford CD players. So it was all cassettes, like two cassette decks, like one after the other.
That's
So it
why,
was
yeah, that's why all of and you guys kind of in that respect, you guys were a cut above the rest because all of these were just like demos, but you guys, had
yeah,
access.
we had analog recording already. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah, so Arise just you know just goes up the chart in LA, and then when Halik ni Judas comes out, it's like, oh my God, it's like floodgates,
that's
just flood
massive.
just floodgates opening. And
Right.
then during this time, on Ivory's side, they weren't promoting the album whatsoever. There was no poster for the record store,
Oh
like
God.
out, like those posters like album out now, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Nothing, because
Well,
the guy who was in charge of us, or like the producer for Tone Deaf, he
right.
believed in the bands that he signed. But the top management, Ivory Records itself, they didn't give a shit because they didn't know. They
Right.
didn't know. They didn't know how to market us. They didn't. They didn't know metal music at all. They didn't know Metallica. you know, so they didn't know where we were coming from. So
Oh.
we had to like really demand for a poster, for a promotional poster. We demanded to to do guestings on in the mall, to promote the album. Like
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, your sound, even back then, was kind of all over the place. You weren't
yeah,
strictly a metal band, you weren't strictly a grunge band, you were just everywhere all at once.
everywhere on at once. I mean, that was all our influences. And like I said, when we got into jazz, it gave us that mentality that we can do anything.
So
We can
by
do anything.
Semenelin, you guys were ready. You guys were ready
Oh yeah,
to do
yeah,
like much darker songs too,
yeah,
much like in contrast, like Wolfgang was very like imaginative, horses, kings,
yep,
everything. But
yep.
Weightless, I think, and all those other songs like Love and Despair, like
Mhm.
Cathedral of Space, still very imaginative, but more kind of heartfelt.
Yeah. I mean, because Basti is a very passionate person, especially when it
Yeah,
comes to art. So
yeah,
even though those his lyrics are very vague, they're not exactly like literal,
yeah.
but you can still feel the emotion when he delivers them.
Mm-hmm.
So like a song like Cathedral of Space. I mean, it's the title itself. It's like so. It's not. It's very vague. It's like it's very open to interpretation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So Semenil and Sony. What we asked Ivory, because Sony was knocking on our door already. It's like, we want you. We want you really bad. And we're
Oh
Sony
wow.
Music. Yeah, and we were like shit, but we have the contract with Ivory was that one album, and then they have the option to sign us for a second album.
Right,
You know what I mean? So it's not the band has no power. So
right.
we had to meet with the head guy of Ivory and ask him to let us go. And then he
Right.
goes, and then he was very reluctant, especially during that time, because then they realized that Wolfgang is the cash cow because Arise was getting there, Halik Nihudas had come out, so a lot of people were buying the album already.
Wow.
So he was like, "No, I can't let you go, guys." But we were like, "No, you have to let us go because," and then he goes, "Give," and then it probably came down to us saying, "It's like, okay, we're gonna ask you a question, and if you can answer this, then we'll stay with you." Okay, and he
Right.
goes, "Okay," and they go, "Can you take this band's music out of the Philippines?" You know what I mean? Because our ambition is to go international, wherever that may be, but outside of the country.
Right.
And we already knew that a record company like Ivory could not do it. They didn't have the. They were just a local record
They're too
company.
small, man.
They're too small. Yeah, they're too small. They don't have any international connections. Whereas Sony is Sony.
Yeah.
And so we asked him that question, and he couldn't give us an answer. So we were like, well, if you can't do that, then we have to leave. You have to let us go because that's our ambition is to go international. So it was getting really heated. It was pretty much him and Manuel, because Manuel in the group is like he's the thinker of the group. He's
Right.
like he thinks things through to the end, and very he doesn't want to make a mistake, so he wants to make sure that all the ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
So it was between him and the head guy of Ivory. They were arguing,
Oh.
and then it's a funny story. It's like Wolfgang lore.
Yeah.
So then Mon is beside me, and Mon was the type of person. He was the guy in the back of the classroom, like doing and making like side comments, like
Peanut
he was
gallery. kind
He
of
used the
feeling.
peanut gallery. Yeah, yeah. So that was Mon. He was like that, And then so he whispered to me something. I don't even remember what he said, but the word "fuck" was in that sentence. He
Okay.
was like, "Oh, it's like fucking something, something, something," and he wasn't saying anything to anybody. He was just commenting.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the guy, the head of Ivory, heard the word "fuck." He was whispering, but he overheard Mon and the word, especially the word "fuck," and he got pissed. He got mad, and he stood up. Right, he was so angry, dude. And
Hmm.
then, so the contract was on the table, like all the papers of the contract we were reviewing. So it was all there. He grabbed a piece of paper on the desk and he's standing up, right? You can't say fuck in my office. And then, for effect, he tried to slam the piece of paper on the table, but it's a piece of paper, so there's no weight. So the paper goes like this, shoot, 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 and then
Epic
lands on the
fail.
epic fail, dude. And then while it's happening, everyone is like, we're like holding our laughter because it's like, nope, dude, epic fail, bro. It's like so he's freaking out, and then Manuel like reacts right away. It's like, well, I guess we're done here. Manuel stands up, starts walking out. So me, Juan, and Basti are like in shock. It's like, oh, okay, we're leaving. So we follow Manuel outside, and then that's it. And then our manager at the time, he goes back up to say something to the guys, and we go back down. And during this whole time, Ivory is in this town called Green Hills,
Yeah.
and Sony is like in the next town over,
Right.
you know. So we were like, and then during this time, Sony is waiting for us to do this so that we can go over there and sign with them after we do the thing. So we're like, so after all of that with the paper, so we
Hmm.
go, I guess we're going to Sony. So right there, we get into our cars and we go to Sony Music. And then we said, okay, we're with you guys. And then we tell them it's like, but we got this legal problem. We're still with the contract. And
Did
and
they
the
get
guy
you out?
and the guy doesn't want to let us go. So it's like, oh, you know what? We'll handle that. We'll get our lawyers to do that. And yeah, and they eventually struck a deal with Ivory. I don't know what deal they made, but they got us out of the contract.
Did they
And then,
did they get you more money?
oh yeah, yeah, they gave us an advance, and
Like
the
a
head of
proper advance, no like shitty like kind of
a proper
breadcrumbing.
advance, a proper advance, a marketing strategy, everything, dude. They were like, because the head of Sony, Wally Chamsey, big
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 supporter?
big supporter. He's an integral part of the Wolfgang story, because if it weren't for him, because he's the one who gave us artistic freedom. It's like total
Oh, creative control. Wow.
100%, 100% creative control. It's like,
That's
you guys
so
do
rare.
what,
That's so rare. That's incredibly rare.
bro. I mean, I have to acknowledge Wally Chamsey. He is the one why Wolfgang is Wolfgang. He's a big part of it. He gave us, if it weren't for him, songs like Weightless, Love and Despair, Semenilin the song, Center of the Sun, those songs would never exist,
No.
because we were like, the leash was taken off. It's like, you wolves, you go to the fucking woods and you get me a deer. I don't know how you get me a deer, but get me that deer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You hunt for that deer. I don't know how you do it, but get me that deer. And we're
And you
like,
you
fuck you.
definitely overexerted yourself in the best way possible on each
We
track,
pushed it. We
especially
pushed it.
weightless. And I was
Yeah.
wondering, so weightless, the video was Rolling Limb, and so like I've always had this contention with Filipino videos because once they're on YouTube and then they're pulled down and then they're never uploaded again. But I managed to like someone actually had like a copy of Weightless as it aired on Mix. So so
Oh, wow.
I was lucky to get that. But how was that video too? Because Basti has wings, and there's a lot of fire, and there's a lot of like kind of stoner, kind of smoky.
So yeah. Well, I mean, the director. I mean, we all had only met recently before we
Yeah,
shot.
and it was very
Um,
shoestringy, kind of put together too.
it was very, yeah. It was very. It was not. It wasn't really a rice
Yeah,
video. Let's put it like
yeah.
that. you know.
But still, like
So, but I
very,
mean, credit
very
is
cool, like very cool kind of
yeah,
like expressions on your face. And what does come out is like it's a very kind of smoky, kind of hazy sort of video.
yeah. And then another, a very, I don't know if you know this, but the story of that video is that Mon didn't want to be part of it because there was going to be acting. Like, there was acting like
Well,
faces
yeah,
and
like
whatever.
faces, you do like
He
your
didn't, he
expression.
didn't want to do
Oh,
that. Yeah, he didn't want to do that. He was too shy to do it. So what he did was, so he called in sick that day, dude. He called in sick, and we were like, we knew that he wasn't sick. He just didn't want to do the
he
acting
would
part.
just be like,
So we're
guys,
like,
I'm not
okay,
feeling good.
yeah, yeah. So we're like, okay, well, we can't, force this guy to do what he doesn't want. So we have to have him on. So the thing is,
So you
so
understand it?
the stand-in is Louis Talan of
Oh,
Razorback.
Louis. Yeah, Louis.
Because they had the same hair, straight long hair, and they played the same
Well,
kind
you
of bass,
can't
the
miss
Warwick
Louis's
bass.
eyes because Louis's eyes are so distinct, so you know it's
Yeah,
Louis.
but if you watch the video again, we don't show any of his face. It's all just hair. Yeah. So that's not more of the video, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really cool just knowing how you guys like broke off and ventured into this new territory with like video making and all of that. And of course, like you wanted to go international. You did do uh an international release of Simenelin in 97, and I know um it has um English version of Matanang Dios,
Yeah.
and
Watermarks.
instead of the Filipino, it starts out with by the water.
Yeah.
And then you, my friend, are a roadworthy man.
Yeah. Oh, Roadworthy Man. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
when Simenelin branched off and did the international release, how did that fare? Because by 97, of course you had post grunge, but then also like teen pop was becoming big too.
Yeah. Yeah. That whole ride from the first album to the fifth album, everything was changing in the world.
Yeah.
But we, as Wolfgang, we had blinders on. So we were like going still that route of we're gonna push
Yeah, and
rock
you
music
you
as
know the whole trajectory, the kind of thing that keeps like Filipino audiences paralyzed is they keep playing to Filipino communities, Filipino audiences, even when they're in the US. But you
yes.
wanted to go global. You wanted to reach the whites, the blacks, the other Asians,
Yeah, everybody. We wanted
everybody.
everybody. Yeah. And the thing is, at that time, metal was and it all boils down to the Black Album.
Right.
Once that Black Album came out, metal just went fully like commercial, you know. So and then Megadeth toned down their album like Euthanasia. That album. I mean, it's a metal album,
Yeah,
but
and,
it's
and then
not.
and then by the time Cementalin was out, it was like during the load and reload kind
Yeah,
of
Reload
era.
and Reload. yeah, Metallica slowed down, but we were like, you know what, we can't slow down. We got we got to push this thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like, and I think by the time you put out Worm, that was like your heaviest, screamiest kind of album.
yeah,
I think Basti
and
was like really screaming by that
oh
point.
yeah, I mean, Bass. I think Worm and Serve in Silence are his peak, like vocal peak. Like he could reach those notes with so much energy.
I love the track Alone from
Alone
Worm.
from Worm, yeah.
Alone.
Yeah, yeah. See that song? That is such an un-Wolfgang song, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. But we were like, you
but
know what?
he really shoots up there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the song itself, it was such a departure from maybe Semenelin vibe, you know.
Yeah,
And but that's what came out of us. So we were like, you know, if it's gonna be like that, then it's gonna be like that, you know.
yeah,
Um, and then Worm was the most was exciting because that got released in Japan, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Japanese fans.
Oh my God, the Japanese, bro. Oh man, I you know I love Japan, dude. I mean, if you
Yeah,
ever have a chance to go to Japan, you gotta go. If you haven't yet,
yeah.
uh,
They love that.
if they love that. So yeah, in that thing, it gets released in Japan. So we go to Japan to promote the thing, right?
Yeah,
So anyway, the I don't know if I'm going ahead. Yeah, I mean, you know,
yeah. So we're on Worm. We're on Worm now.
oh, we're okay. So Worm, we do Worm, and Worm. I don't know if you know, it's a concept album. You know, there's a
Yeah,
story to
we're
the lyrics. You know,
yeah 24. That's where 24 is from, right?
24. Yeah, and then so no one was doing concept albums in 1998. You know,
No,
so
like that was
so
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
yeah. So we're like, you know, we were so into our own world and artistic freedom from Sony that we
Right.
were like, you know, Basti was like, you know what?
There's no way Wolfgang would take a diversion into Backstreet Boys.
Oh
You
hell no.
could.
No, hell no. We were like going in the opposite direction. We were getting deeper into our artistic endeavors, you know.
Yeah,
And then and then so Sony goes, you know, there's a chance for you guys to release the album in Japan. So we're like, okay, cool. What do we need to do? So what happened was um, there was a showcase in Tokyo
right,
where each region of Sony in Asia, in Asia, so there's the Sony in China, Indonesia,
right,
Philippines,
right.
Vietnam, you
Yeah.
know, Malaysia, whatever. They would send a band to Tokyo and do a showcase, and then
Hmm.
Sony Japan would pick from
Yeah,
that showcase who they're going to release.
right.
So yeah, so we did our thing. We did I think 5 songs, and you know we did our usual thing, Wolfgang live, you know, and it was funny during that show. So it's all different Asian countries, and in Asia, especially during that time,
Yeah,
it was only really Filipinos that spoke English. You know what I
right.
mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
not,
especially
I mean, Singapore and Malaysia, definitely, but
yeah, but you know, the Filipinos were really fluent at it. So,
yeah, yeah.
so when we would get on the bus to go to the venue from the
Mm,
hotel, it would be with the other bands, you know. So
yeah.
we'd be all in one bus,
Mm.
and since no one spoke each other's language, we just kept quiet, you know, just riding the bus, go to the venue. So we
Okay.
do the showcase. Everyone's relieved, and then there's a party after. Everyone's drinking Japanese beer or sake, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
Or
time to go back.
Singha. I know you like
Yeah,
Singha,
like
right?
yeah, like Asahi and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, Japanese beer is strong, dude. So
Yeah, I love Kirin and
yeah,
Asahi.
period. Yeah. So we get back on the bus, going back to a hotel. So
Mm.
everyone is sauced up already from alcohol.
Yeah, of course.
So the whole bus is noisy. We're talking to each other, but we don't understand what we're saying to each other because the Chinese can't speak English. I
No.
can't speak Chinese. but we're just laughing because everyone's drunk already. So
Yeah. I guess that bonded you together in that
yeah,
way.
yeah, it was a bonding experience for the bands because everyone was already relieved. You know, the hard
Drunk,
part was over.
drunk is a universal language.
Yeah, exactly. So fortunately, we are the ones who got picked from that
Hmm.
showcase.
Yeah.
So they released Worm in Japan, and we went to Japan for a week. We went to Osaka.
Hmm.
We played an acoustic show in Tower Records. So, you know, when Tower Records was still alive
So
in
that
Japan.
was so that was your first exposure to Japanese fans of
Oh my
Wolfgang.
God! Yeah, it was amazing because um, so we did Osaka for 2 days, and then we went
Wow.
to Tokyo. And
Wow.
every day of that week, during the day was press. It was all press.
Wow.
I had I had not we had not done so much press in our lives before. And the thing is, in the Philippines during that time, the press who was interviewing Wolfgang,
Yeah.
they didn't know anything about rock music. So they were just it's like, how did you get the name of Wolfgang? How were you formed? It was all these, shallow questions.
Yeah.
Nothing about the art, nothing about the music. So when we get to Japan, it's all about the art. It's all about the music. So
Yeah.
we weren't used to answering all these like deep questions about our music. I mean, we loved it, but then we had to like think about how to answer it because we weren't used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a great experience. Um, they believed in our music, and then I did a couple of radio interviews with like the top rock DJs of Japan,
Yeah,
dude.
you had a very, I mean, you have a distinctive voice now, but I've seen you when you were younger, even when you were at the NU Rock Awards. You were
Yeah.
the enthusiastic one when you got on
Oh yeah.
stage and you won, and you gave Osang a hug, and then you were
Yeah,
like,
dude.
yeah, woo, Wolfgang. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
here comes Basti, very shy, very humble. What can I say? Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Very contrast, but it's so cool that you work with those kind of energies, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, Wolfgang was a very well balanced unit. When it came to personalities.
Because you're like super outgoing and then
Oh
very
yeah.
humble Basti.
Dude. I'm like a golden retriever, dude. I'm like that. That's me, man.
Yeah,
It's like if you want to play with me, I'll play, man. It's like shit, dude.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good balance between the members of the band. So yeah,
Hmm.
I did these two interviews
Hmm.
with these rock DJs, and the biggest DJ, we were there. The whole band was there. I
Wow.
forget his name. Maybe DJ Masa. I'm not sure.
Yeah, wow.
But then, so it was the DJ, the guy, and we had an interpreter because he didn't speak English, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he would play tracks from Worm, and of course the press kit that we gave the media is that Worm is a concept album,
Hmm.
which it is.
Yeah.
So of course for the Japanese, when you say concept album, they're like, "Ooh, tell me more," They get all nerdy and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy was asking questions about the concept album, about what the concept is. And at that point, I was the spokesperson for the
Yeah.
radio interviews.
Yeah.
Dude, I ran out of answers because his questions were getting so deep and so
So
meticulous,
nuanced.
so nuanced, so nerdy. It's like, I mean, we were amazed. We liked it, but I was like running out. It's like I had to pass it off to Manuel. It's like, Manuel, you want to answer these questions? Because
Wow.
it's like out of my pay grade already.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really fun, man, and the
Yeah.
gig itself, the show itself, it was a nice small venue, and it was like an open thing. They didn't sell tickets. There were
Hmm.
people outside. It was a busy street in Tokyo. I forget which district it was, but
Hmm.
it was a busy street. So what they would do is like there would be people outside handing out flyers to people passing by, and it would be like Wolfgang, rock band from the Philippines, come inside, free show.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of people went in, but there were there were a lot of people inside. And the great thing about that experience was that they were there out of curiosity.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because they just saw the flyer. It's like, oh, a metal band from the Philippines. Oh, that's interesting. So they go inside, check it out. And the people we were playing for, they were digging the music. They were digging it.
That's
And
really that's really
yeah, so I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, it was very exciting because it was Japan. It was just Japan. The
Yeah.
reputation for liking music was very a popular thing. So it's great.
Yeah, and and then Servant Silence was another big album. That was, like you said, part of Bassist peak. That was when I was introduced to Wolfgang. Simultaneously I saw the, Acoustica
Mm,
performance, and I like, how those two kind of transition into each other, because by the time you do Acoustica, like, you do like these really reimagined versions for acoustic kind of
yeah,
um sort of songs, because you're like a Halik Nihudas was like a really fast metal song, but
yeah,
now you have this really different sort of melodic arrangement. And I love when bands do that, because if you were to have played it normally, it would have sounded like
yeah. Exactly.
but then
Yeah,
you slow it down a little bit, you focus more on the chords, and
yeah,
like it's really cool. So, Serve in Silence obviously had Atomica, and like
yeah.
Atomica was like huge, right?
Atomica was huge. It's a huge song. I mean, and if you listen to Atomica, it's got that. It opens the album, right, and it's got that solo
Yeah.
guitar thing at the beginning, and then no, no. I mean, just Manuel and the slow guitar,
Right.
and then Basti comes in with the vocal, and then the main song comes in.
Started.
Yeah. So that song alone was another groundbreaking thing for us because it's like it starts off just with a really soft guitar, mellow vocals, and then the main song comes in. So
Mhm.
we were like, even some of the fans were even like, they were kind of jolted when it's like, what's this? Why is the song slow? The first song in the album is slow. It's like, what's this? You know,
Mhm.
even some of the fans weren't used to that kind of arrangement.
Mhm.
So it was us again pushing the boundaries. And then
Mhm.
Acoustica, like you said, yeah, we had to reimagine some of the arrangements, like just so it could fit in an acoustic format. Like
Mhm.
Bought and Sold. I mean, Bought and Sold was totally revamped into a bluegrass country kind of feel.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a totally Black Sabbath song. The original version of it is
Yeah.
a totally Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we had to do that, and again, it it made us become creative.
My
You know,
favorite my favorite track of Acoustica, I think, is how you reimagined one of the heaviest tracks.
right?
I have the CD and VCD combo
Yeah,
somewhere. But wow, you have vinyl. Wow. I have
yeah,
vinyl too. I don't have any Wolfgang vinyl. That'd be a first.
yeah,
Um but one of the best, I think, renditions you did was Hell Looks.
yeah,
That was a big song for me, because it takes like a very fast, screamy song, and then
yeah,
totally revamps it into this slow, haunting kind of song. Wow.
yeah,
That was like
yeah,
the most refreshing kind of song that you guys did.
yeah. So when we did Acoustica and reimagined those songs, it was like writing a new album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really cool, and then of course we got Dave to play, guitar there, and in the show. It was great.
And the
And
singing ambassadors too. They started
oh
you up.
yeah, the UP ambassadors, man. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. We were so lucky to have gotten a chance to express ourselves to the fullest artistically,
Right.
by incorporating choirs, acoustic songs, everything. I mean, we
And
got
normally that would be like the cheesiest, most cash cow thing you could do, like whole
yeah,
orchestra. That's been done to death. But you
yeah,
guys, again, with the total reimaginings of these songs, it was almost like a dream. You were like in like a dream state when you were
yeah,
performing those songs.
for sure. Yeah. And then and of course the crowd, when you hear the crowd, when like they're just like experiencing all these new arrangements on the spot. So it was very special. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really cool too, like when you transition from that. And Black Mantra, that's another album that really holds close to me. Like when I think of how it's produced, it's like Sane Anger but done a few years prior, but done right. It's like Sane Anger if it didn't have all the issues.
That's a great way of describing it.
Yeah, but
And
yeah.
yeah, and Black Mantra was that was a home recording, dude.
Wow,
That was
wow.
yeah, because Manuel was already getting into um, because it was already digital. By Simenelin, Pro Tools was brand new, so everything was
Hmm.
going digital already. Analog
Phased
was
out, right?
being phased out. But then when we got to Serve in Silence is also an analog album.
Oh wow,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. So, but when it got to Black Mantra, Manuel was already into the home recording thing.
Wow.
So he said, "You know what? I want to try to record this in the house, so we don't have to spend for a big recording studio."
No.
And that's where the trend is going. Black
Yeah.
Mantra was way before home recording was a thing.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, way before, man. So we recorded that in Manuel had an old ancestral house,
Hmm.
and there was one house that was abandoned. So we used the master bedroom of that house, big bedroom. We put a couch in there. I bought a drum set. We bought amps. We used our band fund to buy equipment.
Hmm.
And that's Black Mantra. Is a home recording, man.
Wow. And then
Yeah,
from there, like you went a few years past that, you did Locomotive. You did Locomotive with Basti. And I
with Basti,
remember
yeah.
Five Alive. I remember that
Oh yeah.
song. I was like, is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be like when they really kind of break forward to the US? But time had a life of its own essentially when it came to Locomotive. So like, how did
Yeah,
Locomotive?
Locomotive was a great band when it started, and then it was weird because Basti had to live his life, so he had to leave the band, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's life. But then even during the time in the States, it was a weird time to be independent.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I mean my experience in the States prior to the melodies, it was very weird because you had to play that game of the pay to play in Hollywood. You know
Ew,
what I mean?
yeah. Oh man.
It's the worst thing ever, dude. I mean, the whiskey, the Roxy, the one with the place where River Phoenix died. Fuck, I forgot the name.
The Viper Room.
The Viper
I
Room, yeah.
remember I loved River Phoenix's band, Alakazattic. They were awesome.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Loved love
So
that.
anyway, so we you have to pay $500 for to play for 30 minutes, man. And
What?
and then that's including your setup already, dude.
Even if you
Yeah.
have a following?
Even if you have a follow. And the thing was, so the policy alone is like so not for the artist, you know. It's just for the whiskey to make money, you know. And 30 minutes, man. If you have short songs, then great. But if you have long songs, at least let's say 4 minute songs or 5 minute songs, then you can only play 5 minutes, five songs. You know, you know, and then and then at that time, I was already in my 30s, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anybody in the states. I was an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. You know, I'm a U.S. immigrant. So
Mm-hmm.
the only people that we would invite were the people who knew us as Wolfgang and some of our friends and family members,
Yeah.
which is not a lot. You know, it's not a lot.
And then after Basti, it like the sound started becoming more Americanized,
yeah. It was yeah.
much more
It-
Americanized.
we were trying our best to make the sound Americanized, and it was kind of not. It wasn't 100% pure on our, because we're Filipinos, you know, and
Yeah.
you're trying to make music for a different culture, so it wasn't 100%. So yeah, so when it would come to the gig, the bands that would be playing alongside of us in whiskey at the whiskey were these young bands, and they would bring their whole high school.
Oh man.
So when it would come to them, it's like packed, like the whiskey is packed with
And
all the
then
high school.
and then you were
And
like
then we
you
would
were
come
the
in.
uncles. You were the
We were
uncles
the
of the scene.
we were the uncles, but we were like the best band in the lineup because we were all
The
these
best
seasoned.
uncle band.
Yeah, the best uncle band, and then of course the whole high school would leave because their band finished already, and we would be left with our crowd, which would maybe 15, 20 people, and so it was very discouraging. You know, it's just
Oh,
discouraging that you had to play that game. You had to
yeah.
play the Hollywood game. You know, and eventually like Locomotive and then Three Headed Dog. You know, we were like,
Yeah,
it's
three
just
headed dog. And then three headed dog, I mean you weren't there for Wolfgang's villains, obviously, but you did three
yeah,
headed dog. That
yeah,
was obviously the time when Basti was like kind of should I not, with my condition. And like when it was first announced, he was like, oh, to hell with it, I guess I'll do it.
oh,
But all this
because
shit was all this shit was going on all at once.
yeah, I didn't that part of the Wolfgang villains era. I had
Yeah,
no part of it.
yeah, right.
I had no idea what was going on. So
Hmm.
I didn't know that he had that big decision to make after his condition affected him.
Yeah,
But I
wow.
but I'm glad he made the decision to stick with it because he can still do it. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is the man, and like
Yeah.
and it's great. Like big up Sebastian, because when he was being interviewed, I always thought that art was something that he did kind of like as his pastime. It's like, oh, Miles Davis, Elvis paintings. And I was like, oh, these are pretty
Yeah.
good. Something he did as pastime. But no, I was like, wow, Basti, like even in the very beginning, like he was really into art. He still is
Yeah.
very into
He's a
like
he's
painting.
a yeah, he's a legitimate artist. You know, the album cover of the first album, that's his drawing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's his drawing in his notebook, you know. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, well, he is awesome, but like and it's so cool though, like how you kept it going, like so Three-Headed Dog, you had the Minilad album, and that was like very power trio, very kind of heavy
Yeah.
Black Sabbath sound, right?
Yeah. That Three-Headed Dog was because after Locomotive, you know, when Basti left, we got another singer to tour.
Right.
And it somehow didn't work out when it started when Dave and Danny started writing songs with the new guy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't compatible. So he eventually had we had to let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And then during this time, I quit music for a year.
Right.
It
Yeah. I
just,
remember
it
you
just
took a year off.
yeah. I took a year off. There was just too much happening from the start of Wolfgang until Locomotive. It was nonstop. So I just needed a break. I just needed to I needed a break, and that's when I started traveling around.
Hmm.
Um, and opening my horizons.
Right.
With everything in life. So when because I told Dave, it's like, Dave, I'm gonna take a year off. Don't talk to me about music. Don't try and form a band or whatever. I can't, because I can't. My mind's not there. My heart's not there.
But by the
So
time
after,
Three-Headed Dog came around, then you
yeah.
were.
So when after a year passed by, Dave, hit me up again. It's like, dude, you wanna do band? You wanna be in a band again? It's like, yeah, sure, yeah, let's do it, man. So Dave was like, so with this new band, I'm gonna be the singer because I don't want to work with vocalists right now.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to be in. Excuse me. He wants to be in control.
Right.
They're like, okay, sure, just as long as you sing in tune, I'll back you up. You
Right.
know, because Dave is not a natural vocalist.
Right.
So
No.
I remember the training he had to do for himself
Right.
to get to sing the way he sang. He would be like, he'd
It's
have a
like
he had
definitely a Dave Grohl process, because
oh
Dave
yeah,
Grohl wasn't
yeah,
really a singer, and then he kind of learned to sing through Pocket Watch and then Nirvana. Like he came out as a singer.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's how Three of the Dog came about.
Wow, so that whole album is like, again, it's a very nuanced sound. It's like, you'd say probably somewhat Juan de la Cruz, but more speed, glue, and chinky
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
sound.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Dave. It was all riff because Dave was the guitarist. So it
Right.
was all guitar based rock. And then we do a cover of Pepe Smith there, Summer Wind. That's a
Yeah,
Pepe
yeah.
Smith.
Summer
Yeah,
Wind. I have that Pinoy Rock tape.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The best of Pinoy rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Best of Pinoy Rock. My friend
yeah.
from Kansas gave it to me, but that's
Oh
so
my
cool.
gosh. Yeah.
But so it's it's an interesting journey you went on. Obviously, you said you took a break from music, you came back into it, and then I mean, you mentioned Mon, how instrumental he was. And in 2022, Mon passed away. And what did you miss immediately about Mon?
Um, what did I miss? His wit,
Yeah.
his his peanut gallery approach. Yeah, because he was totally he's a very witty person, and as we all know, he did all the Tagalog lyrics of our songs, so he's now considered one of the best songwriters in the Philippines because of that. And it's amazing because he's just an unassuming person. He was a very unassuming person. He just really wanted to play music. That's all he wanted to do. He didn't want to act in music videos, so he just wanted to play
He
music.
was
So
so he was a very behind the scenes sort of guy.
yeah, he was very behind the scenes. He knew that, okay, I'm the bass player of this band. I'm gonna hold down the fort with Wolf. We're gonna be the rhythm section. Um, it's like he was the eldest, so he was like the big brother of the whole band. And when and on my part, when I would not be playing well, on the drums, I'd be speeding up or slowing down or whatever. He would be the one to tell me, it's like, dude, you gotta shape up, you gotta keep it together, because it's important that you play well. So that's what I miss about him. He was big brother. He was the gallery. He was, when we would talk about music, it was just like as deep as you can get Oh, and he was a huge science fiction fan.
Mm-hmm.
He loved Isaac Asimov. Do you remember that author?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the aliens coming to Earth and all that,
Yeah.
the Inca lines and all that stuff.
So that's where,
Uh
like, Cathedral of Space and all that.
yeah, stuff like that. But and Mon was also into building models, like those World War II tanks and stuff.
Planes and stuff.
Yeah, planes. He was so into that. So he was an interesting guy, and to top it all off, he was a great Tagalog lyricist, which it was amazing. So I miss Mon in those terms, and of course, as the bassist of Wolfgang, you can't. It'll be something will be very missed during the reunion show.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna make it that he gets his flowers, and he gets his props and we're gonna show a lot of love for
Like
Mon.
even when you do stuff in the melodies, like even when that's like very pop punky, like do you
Mm.
still think about the other bands that you've been in and like say like wow, like even as you've gone into like a new sort of venture with the melodies, do you think back to your old bands as you're working with them?
I mean, it's a journey. For me, it's really a journey. I've been really blessed, man. I've been very, very fortunate, and it doesn't go beyond me that I am so fortunate to have and continue to have a journey like this, a musical journey. Because when the melodies started, I was kind of it's like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know uh, who to form a band with. I think Dave
Right.
at the time was like, I'm going to take a break from music as well. So,
So you
I don't
got
want
the
to.
sugar hiccup lady.
So yeah, so we got hooked up, and then the interesting story about Melody was like that she's even though Sugar Hiccup is very new wave, ethereal,
Shoegaze.
shoegaze, yeah, but she has a rock and roll side to her. You
Wow.
know
Yes, he did
that
some Paquito.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when we got together to form the Melodies, so her story was it's a quick side story is that when
Mhm.
she got together with her husband, she got married. So they wanted to raise a family, right?
Right.
So her deal with her husband is that okay? We'll raise the family. We'll have a couple of kids. She has 4 kids now. She's amazing.
Wow.
Melody's like superwoman, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that. They raised their kids. Her youngest is probably in junior high already. So they're
Wow.
big kids already. So the deal is that we'll raise a family, but once our kids are good to go, they can walk to school already or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to making music in a band.
Right.
So that whole time she was raising a family, she was not actively um, in a band.
Mm-hmm.
But she was actively writing music because she's a
Right.
songwriter. So she's always writing music. So
Mm-hmm.
by the time I met her and we formed Melodies, she was like very humble. It's like so I'm like, oh, Melody, do you have any songs? It's like, yeah, I have a couple of songs. Okay, let's
And she
play
has
them.
like pages and books
Dude,
of
she
stuff.
had she had the whole Melodies album already on in she played it on acoustic guitar. Yeah, because the whole time she was raising a family, she was writing all these songs.
Yeah.
So by the time she demos all the songs from the first album on acoustic guitar and she's singing it, I'm like,
We gotta lay
oh,
this down. We gotta
oh my god, it's like these songs are already made. All we gotta do is just turn them into rock songs, with
yeah.
drums and the whole band. So that's what happened with the Melodies, and I am so grateful to have formed the band with Melody because like I said, she's at that point where she's coming back into the thing from
Mm-hmm.
raising a family, taking a break for a very long time, and coming back. So the creativity in this person is overflowing,
Yeah.
and to me, that's like treasure because I am not, personally speaking, I'm not a songwriter. I
No.
could not write a song to save my life,
No.
but I can arrange a song like totally. If
Yeah.
the bare bones is there, my imagination will turn that song into what it is in the album.
Yeah.
Of course, with the help of the other members, but
Yeah.
so that's my kind of, those are my powers, in that sense. So
Yeah.
I feel so blessed and fortunate that I have a songwriter who can't stop writing songs. you
Wow.
know, it's just she can't stop. It's just coming out of her.
Yeah.
And then and so all I have to do is listen to what she demos, and then we go back and forth with my ideas, and then we come up, and then this is how creative it's gotten with melody and the
Mm-hmm.
melodies, and to acknowledge Robin Rivero also. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a great guitarist. The thing with Rob is that he lives in Vegas,
Right.
so he's far away from us. We're in LA, um so it's kind of weird that he can't really play with us often.
So you're emailing each other just
We're
parts of.
emailing each other, and then we don't know what he's gonna do because he's his kind of approach is like on the spot. He's so like on the spot. So we'll send him the demo, do what you want there. He
Mm-hmm.
comes back and it's like really cool guitar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the first track on the album, Restless, that's Rob's song.
Right.
That's his song. And then we just rearranged it, and then Melody put her vocals and lyrics. It's her lyrics. But the song itself, that's Robin's song. So, he's a big contributor. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so the creativity has gotten ourselves into a place where I told Melody, it's like, Melody, I
So you
always
probably
want.
have the next like two or three albums
We have the
down
yeah, we have
pat.
the we have yeah, we have the second album. Yeah, while I'm here in Manila, I'm going to record the drum tracks here because
Oh,
it's
so
much
you're
cheaper.
you're working on new melodies? I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to that.
but that's later on when the Wolfgang stuff is
Yeah, yeah,
already
yeah. So,
done,
like,
dusted.
I guess, what are you looking forward to most about this reunion? Like, this is a
Oh,
power trio lineup. What are you looking forward to most, especially getting these
yeah,
rehearsals done and seeing everybody and getting those energies kind of going?
I am very excited. I'm actually starting to get nervous. The
Yeah,
nerves are starting to get there,
but
and
like
that's a good.
good nervous, right?
Good
Good
nerves.
nerve.
It's a good thing. It's always good to be nervous because if you're not nervous, that doesn't mean you don't care. I mean, that
Yeah.
means that you don't care. So I'm starting to get nervous and anxious about the date coming in a positive way. And every rehearsal, we're getting tighter and tighter. We're starting to remember how to play the songs, muscle memory
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And we have, like in Acoustica, we have these ideas that we're putting in the show
Right.
that'll make it interesting. Not Yeah, there's some rearrangements here and there that I think the fans are gonna dig.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also planning to record the show,
Mm-hmm.
so make a live album out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very exciting, and also the idea and also the thought that we can get more shows after this one. They'll be generating uh more interest, and hopefully we can do a reunion tour and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time. But
Yeah. I mean,
going back to Melody and the thing that we have this idea. I told her, it's like, you know what, Melody, I always wanted to write and record a a James Bond theme song.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be, no, but like a theme song. That's like the theme, but like a theme song for a movie.
Yeah,
Like every movie has their theme song, like
right, yeah,
like Chris Cornell did his, Adele did hers, or whatever.
yeah.
So I wanted to do something like that also. And then like 2 days later, she comes, "Oh, I have something.
Right.
Listen to it." She sends me the demo, and it's a complete song, and
Oh wow.
it sounds like a double. It sounds like a James Bond song.
Yeah.
The lyrics, the way
Or
she's
to put
singing it.
like, or to make it more Filipino, you probably do like the Voltes V theme song. Voltes Frata V.
Yeah, the Voltus 5 theme. Yeah. So I mean, so we now have an arrangement for a James Bond theme song, and it's really cool. So that's what I mean. It's like I'm very fortunate to have a artistic partner who is very creative and very open minded. You know, and that's what happened with Wolfgang. That's what happened with Locomotive. Or that's what happened with Three Headed Dog. I've
Hmm.
been fortunate. I I've been fortunate that my energy has led me to other people's energy that are very compatible with my artistic um vibe, if you
Hmm.
want,
And
lack
then,
for better terms.
yeah. And what have you learned about yourself throughout this whole time, considering your career thus far? What have you learned about yourself, not only as a musician, but as a person?
Oh man, that's a loaded question, man. But
Hmm.
I'll try and answer it as best I can.
Hmm.
What I've learned about myself, the most important thing is that I am a person that goes with the flow.
Hmm.
I've learned to let go
Hmm.
where I personally have no power in
Hmm.
whatever is happening,
And you accept that. It's not
and
like
I accept it.
defeatist or anything.
Yes, I have. It's
You're
like, okay,
surrendering, but in the best way.
I'm totally surrendering. I'm totally surrendering to situations that I know another person has more power to do it than I. So
Yeah.
it's like my ego has. I always have to check my ego and say, who's the best person to lead whatever, to do whatever, in a
Hmm.
group, because I always thrive in a group setting.
Right.
That's where I thrive.
Yeah.
So if someone is going to take the baton for this particular situation, and I have my own ideas that I want to put in there, to put in the pot,
Hmm.
but that person, let's say, has their ideas are stronger than mine, I'll be like, okay, we're going with your idea, because
Hmm.
your idea is the best idea for this situation, and I want the whole group to benefit. It's not an ego. It's not a personal ego
Right.
that, oh, okay, that was my idea or whatever. Like, no, man. Whoever's got the best idea, we're going with that. With that.
No,
With
you
that.
you
You
do
know.
like a bit of your idea, do it
Yeah,
so
it's
that
like
you're
if I.
not so attached to it, so that when you pass it off, it can have their energy, then the next person's energy, put it all into a pot. There's your idea. That's it. There's
There,
your
yeah.
song. There's
There's
your
your
album.
song. There's your song. There's your album. And yeah, that's throughout everything. That's what I've learned to do in my artistic life and in my life in general. It's like, let's say, even and it's for my own sanity. It's
Hmm.
like, let's say, it's like, take for example, um taking out all the politics of it, but what's happening in the States right now is it's just too wild, man.
Yeah.
So
Especially
instead
since
of,
everyone around the world knows about it. This isn't just
yes,
a uniquely American thing. Like,
yeah, it's
you
like
know,
everybody
if
knows
if
about
we
it.
say America, we mean the world, because
We mean the
everyone.
world. Because now people who want to do the shit that America's doing, they're gonna do it in their own thing because they're seeing it on
Yeah.
whatever. So
Not
that aside,
everything America does is cool.
I know exactly. That's what I've learned living in the States for
Not
25 years,
everything
man.
American does is worth
It's
latching
worth,
on to.
yeah, exactly. So there are
Yeah,
two roads that I could have taken.
right.
That I could take is the deep dive into what's really going on, and just my all my posts are political or like that,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh
Or
God,
I
exhausting.
could just, yeah, it's exhausting, bro. Or I could just let it go because I have no power to change any of this. I can express my feelings, but literally, I have no power to change the president of the United States. I have
No.
no power to stop the war in Ukraine. It's like, so,
Yeah.
no, none of us do, man.
No.
So for me, for my own sanity, that's what I've learned to do. It's just like, I'm going to watch what's happening. I have my own personal feelings about it. Every now and then I'll post about it,
Mhm.
but it's not going to run my life. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's that. I think that would answer that question.
Hmm. And then lastly, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
The only thing, of course, it's all about the gratitude. That's there. But one thing I want to say to the fans in one sentence, I'll say it in Tagalog and then I'll translate it into English.
Because you have an American fan like me.
No, yeah, 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 yeah. But it's the same thing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. In Tagalog, it says, "Kung wala kayo, wala kami." I don't know if you understood that.
Kung
In
wala
English,
kayo, wala kami.
yeah, kung wala kayo, comma, wala kami.
Yeah.
So in English, it literally translates to, if without you, there's no us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Without
Yeah.
wala.
Well, kung wala kayo, without you, there is no us. And that is the story of Wolfgang. Ah, I'm getting emotional again, dude. When it comes to the fans, I get emotional because the Wolfgang fan, whether it be OG or New Blood, and everything in between, American, Canadian, African, whatever. If you're a Wolfgang fan, you are part of this entity. You are part of the band. The Wolfgang fan is part of the band. It's so integral. It's like Metallica. The Metallica fan is part of the band.
Yeah.
And with Wolfgang, it's the same thing. Because, like I said in Tagalog, kung wala kayo, wala kami.
And
If you weren't there, there would be no
to
us.
your credit, you are worldwide now. You've seen the reaction videos with Americans, like people
Yeah,
like me, of
yeah,
my skin color reacting to Arise, reacting
yeah.
to Weightless. They love going through this. I'm like, finally, they're reaching their American audience.
Yes, yeah. You see, see, that's the thing. The fans, like you, the way you just said that, the fans care about the Wolfgang so much. That's why I get emotional when I talk about the fans because I know how much our fans care about the band. That they want the best for us. They want us to have albums out in the world. They
Yeah.
want us to be playing, in front of quote unquote white people or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why the bond between the Wolfgang fan and the band is so strong, and that's why this upcoming reunion show is so special because of that bond.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I want to say to the fans. It's like, yes, I am grateful for all the support. Thank you, maraming salamat. We can't say it enough.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, the Wolfgang fan is like this. The
Yeah.
Wolfgang fan and the Wolfgang band is this, like this. We are one. It's one big entity. And if you mess with the Wolfgang band, you're gonna mess with the whole entity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah. So I'm so proud of what Wolfgang achieved in that sense. Very, very proud. I'm very proud of our fans. I'm very proud of Manuel, Basti, and Mon. Rest in peace. I'm
Mhm.
so proud of what we've achieved. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
I
man.
gotta stop because I'm gonna cry, dude.
Yeah, oh man,
Yeah.
but yeah, feel free though to express yourself. I love how you express yourself so far. I love that you just gave me your entire journey. I hope we're able to do this again with any
Yeah,
new
man.
material you put out. You're always welcome back on. Whoop, this has been an amazing thing that you did to come on, take, this time. Like this is like something that I've always dreamed about as a teenager, you
Oh my
know?
god. Dude.
Eventually,
You're gonna make
like
me cry. Stop, dude.
eventually, imagine that. Imagine 15-year-old Jake one day.
Oh my god, that's dude. That's like fucking. That's what it's all about, man. And another thing, talking about 15-year-old Jake. I mean, they're going in this upcoming show. They're gonna be like 15-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds coming to the show because the kids of our
Oh
family.
yeah.
And that's what I want. I want a new generation to be blown away by the live music, the volume, the bass drum hitting your chest. Oh, I'm so excited.
Wolfgang
That's what.
Live, you
Yeah,
gotta you gotta get it like all the videos. You gotta do a cleanup upgrade
yeah.
of Acoustica from VCD.
I know.
Make it the
Yeah,
best.
dude.
Make it
Yeah.
Blu-ray. Make it DVD
Yeah,
even.
yeah. Jake, I really wanna thank you, bro. I mean, like I said, the Wolfgang fans, I can feel their love for the band, and I feel your love for the band too. So I really appreciate it.
This has been amazing, man.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much, Jake. I really appreciate you, man.
Take care, man.
Take care, dude. Have a good night, bro.
Have a good morning where you are.
Yep, I will. All right.
Uh,
See ya.
See you, man.
Okay.